Quick note before we get into it. If you're watching on YouTube, we apologize, but we did have some issues with our camera this week, so we do only have the audio. But also, if you're enjoying the show and want to dive deeper into aesthetics and the business, clinical, and legal side of it, please check out our Patreon. We've got all sorts of webinars and clinical videos, injecting, documents, consents, all sorts of stuff to help you out. And we also take customer requests for that stuff. So you have something specific or state specific, we try to get that to you. And then just please don't forget to like and rate and subscribe on all the podcast platforms or whatever platform you're listening on. It really helps us as a small business and helps us get our content out there. So if you like this, share it and help us out. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Adriane.
And I'm Cira.
And we're not the Smiley twins.
We're not. So we are, however, with Smiley Aesthetics. I am a nurse practitioner. I'm vice president of clinical operations and the training program here at Smiley Aesthetics. And we have Miss...
I'm Adriane Rohrer. I'm VP of strategic growth. Sometimes I can't say that. In clinical services. I want to take a sidetrack real quick.
Already we're getting sidetracked?
Trying to get sidetracked. So clinical operations and clinical services. Like, let's talk about, like, what is the difference of that? We need to talk to Mary and Carla about that.
Is there a difference, really? Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of overlapping.
Yes, because I'm like, clinical services and clinical operations, because, okay.
Hey, you know what? We get a lot accomplished.
We do. And
so,
I don't know how I can do it without you.
Oh, gosh, same here. Oh, my goodness. Talk about, like, having an amazing team.
Yes.
I mean, really, it is the best. And so, which makes training so much fun.
Which we're going to talk about our amazing training today, and we're so excited. So, Cira, tell me about your training. Well, I know about your training experience, but I think
I'll share it.
We need to share it.
Let's talk about that. So my training, I was at the time working in pulmonary, which like people say, oh my gosh, like what on earth what takes you from pulmonary to aesthetics? But I don't know, it was something I'd been thinking about, and I'm like, I really want to try this out and see what it's like. I knew nothing. I knew nothing about business, none of the legal stuff. I'd always worked for big corporate companies, things like that. So I went to a training. I literally found a training and went there within a week. And I came out, I don't know that I really knew much more. I mean, I did at least inject a few units of Botox and like maybe half a syringe of lip filler. Like definitely not the best. However, I am kind of I will obsess over things until I know that I feel knowledgeable and I'm ready to get out there and do it. So I researched time and time for months. I just kind of obsessed with it because I left feeling like, oh my gosh, this is so dangerous. But over time, like I started, and I thankfully had some close friends and family that I could practice on. Lord help them. But needless to say, it all went well and worked out, thankfully. But as I continued getting more into aesthetics, I found myself calling the board of nursing, asking questions like, what about the laws for this and the laws for that, and inquiring more, because one thing that I had never worried about in all of my years of nursing is, am I protected? Is my license protected? I mean, I shouldn't say never worried about it, but I was always, again, under a corporate umbrella, so I felt protected. But what I found was that aesthetics is very gray, extremely gray. And so I became even more nervous about, the legal ramifications of what if I do something that I don't know is illegal and, things like that. So I had met Mary and Carla, and we really, we just became good friends, really. And they were amazing because I wasn't even part of Smiley at that time. And they just, would offer advice and share their resources and share all the things to make sure that like I was going down the right path. And so once I saw just the character of what they stood for, of course it was a no-brainer. And of course went and got more training from Mary, who has, a lot of experience. At that point, it was just kind of like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Like, I just want to be in a Smiley team because they offer education, support, and so much more. And so I was super grateful to come across them, and just in the sense that I started learning more about the legal side and the business side, and feeling confident clinically.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my story. Let's hear yours. How did you get into aesthetics?
Well, I lived in Arizona originally. My background's in ER and neurotele, and I wanted to be a nurse practitioner to essentially run and own my own med spa in Arizona. And Arizona is a full practice state, so no medical oversight from a physician. So I could have my own med spa. And my husband, who is so supportive, was like all about it. He's like, yes, let's do it. We had a name picked out. Then we decided to move to Tennessee, which the laws change. When I was in Arizona, I didn't get any formal training. And when I looked around, it was scary, like we talked about. And then there's so much gatekeeping that just that first step to even start pursuing it, I was like, I had my name and I had my business and I had like Google, but everything else, I was like, it is so hard. There are so many gray areas. It's black and white. I didn't realize how much was illegal out there. Like, people can get products from outside the country and to be cheaper, and that's scary. I didn't realize that. And so when I moved to Tennessee, obviously I needed actual formal training. I needed medical oversight. And that's how I met Mary. And I thought it was a scam at first because she had no website. I paid her Venmo. And I was like, I just got screwed out of money. But obviously it didn't end up happening that way. And then I continued to grow in the company. And to your point, just having Courtney, I learned so much from Courtney about, just everything from my license to nursing license, state licensing, and even.
So I'm going to stop you. Who's Courtney?
Oh, Courtney is her chief legal officer. She is one of the, the dynamic trio with Smiley Aesthetics. So speaking with her, because we work very closely, not only with going into other states, because we are in 10 states for training, just our training from our RNs, we just, I didn't realize PA was under the Board of Medicine.
Yes, I did not either.
So when you think about, after she explained it to us, I'm like, oh, light bulb. Yeah, of course you cannot oversee a PA because that's over. So it's just little things like that where I'm like constantly in awe of not only, Carl and Mary, but Courtney. I'm like, oh, no wonder why this is amazing.
Even the good faith exam.
Yes.
I, had no idea. Yeah. I can remember them, talking to them and them bringing up good faith exam. I'm like, good what?
Good what?
I'm sorry. What was that?
Yeah.
So, and that's very important. And I've met other people that are in aesthetics and they've been injecting for years under med spas, and they're like, what's a good faith exam?
Yeah.
They don't know. And so, yeah, it's quite interesting.
It's very interesting, which I think it leads to how great our trainings are. Especially, we have so much knowledge between you and Mary. I haven't been injecting as much as you guys, so I learn something new every day from you guys. But it really is, in my opinion, made our trainings phenomenal because we do bring the business, the training on top of it, and then, the legal guidance. When I train in Arizona, I've gone back to Arizona, hometown, woo woo. I train a lot of nurse practitioners who have been in the same boat as I have been, where they're like, I don't need medical director. I just want to get trained and do it myself. And of course, I'm going to support that decision. I'm never going to try to sway anyone to do anything they don't want to do. But then when they start thinking about how hard it is to do it alone, when we talk about anything from our weight loss, and our nurse practitioner would say, well, I don't need a medical director in Arizona, 100%, but there's more than just needing a medical director. Do you have the right consents, the right charting, the right follow-ups, protect your license? So
absolutely.
I don't want to say I can persuade anyone to change their mind, but when you really take a step back, we do make it easier.
Yeah.
And you protect your license that we've all worked so hard for, even as a nurse,
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
It is crazy because when I first got started, that was, looking at consents and, things that are going to protect you. You think, oh, I'm just going to go get trained and go start injecting. Like, 100%. No big deal. And then the reality hits you that it is medicine. And I think a lot of times we forget that we are giving people medicine. It is a medical treatment. And, it's not just something fun that we're just going to try out.
It's not that, that which we deal with this all the time in the aesthetic industry where, that client sits in the chair and they dictate what it is.
Oh,
and I have no problem. Let's talk about it. But like we just talked about, I don't allow them to dictate my medicine. When I was a nurse practitioner in my own clinic, this is aesthetics. I'm not going to allow you to dictate my care as a provider with you in my chair. So I have those conversations, like maybe I'm not the right medical provider for you.
Oftentimes what I find is when I educate my patient on
100%.
all the whys behind it of why I'm not going to underdose you, why I'm not going to treat this area and not treat this area. They generally are like fine with it, but I think we get so busy, I shouldn't say we, I think a lot of aesthetic providers get busy trying to get the business.
And dollar sign.
Yeah, they're like, okay, or the other thing too, and the other perspective is that nurses in general aren't comfortable taking money.
Oh, absolutely.
They're not comfortable taking money.
We're not. We've never had to worry about that.
We've never had to deal with that side. And so they feel like they're pressuring the patient. And so they don't, they basically kind of, okay, we'll just give you what you want.
Yeah, you want 10 units? Okay.
Right.
And
I'll see you again in just a few weeks.
I'll see you again in a month.
Yeah.
And I love that when we have our trainings, and I know you've done it, but when we have clients come in to our trainings, allowing our clients to just be comfortable talking and speaking with us because they're not all getting full correction. They do come in and it is comfortable. I do think when our injectors are learning from us, seeing how we talk to the clients, educate them and saying, okay, we talked about full dose, we do keep in mind about budget, but at the end of the day, we're going to stand firm. I'm not going to underdose you. I have no problem, going down on units in this area, but here's the why behind it.
Right.
And helping build their confidence at our trainings, talking to our clientele.
It was so cool. Just this last weekend, I was training in Kansas and had that exact thing happen. Like the model that came in, she was thankfully came in model client, and I was teaching the class as we were injecting and things like that. And so it took a little more time. However, at the end of it, the model was like, that was so cool.
Oh, all the time.
Like that was so fun because I got to hear all of the teaching. And she said, usually I go in and they just like stick me and I'm gone.
Yeah.
She said, I don't ever get to hear the rationale or the reason they're injecting here or there and how much they're using and why is that. And so it was very impressive in the sense of understanding also, I say impressive, but it's a good reminder for us all that education is so important.
100%.
Education for our clients are so important.
I know it's so funny you say that because I've had so many models that are nurses that they come to get Botox and just, great. We're nurses, we have our downfalls, like we're the worst patients. But when they're patients as models, they're like, I didn't know that. This is so interesting. And then I see them at the next training.
Yes.
Because they're just so excited. But our clients, when you teach them, it's actually fun. So we used to I think block off 15 minutes for Botox, but we actually extended it to go over full face assessment and to really educate. And I love when I have them look in the mirror and I'm like, it's like I call them avatars. You're an avatar when you leave my chair because you're going to have dots everywhere.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about your cheeks, your chin, a little gobble, and you're under there. But I love it.
But full face assessment, I never got that. I mean, when I went to training, I never got I had no idea really about, a huge thing that I look back now and I'm like, it wasn't even discussed in training was elasticity versus volume. Those things, static versus dynamic wrinkles.
Even educating what a wrinkle is.
Right.
So when those clients come in and they want to be underdosed, and I love that, especially at training, when they're like, oh, I've only gotten 20 units for my full face. And the woman is, you're just looking at her, you're like, girl, I see 20 units need to go in your glabella alone.
Right.
And you ask your client, do you know what a wrinkle is?
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, even if you're coming for a training, just understanding, I know that's simple. We all know what wrinkles are, but do you really know what a wrinkle is? So when I tell you 64 units, it's not because you have 64 wrinkles. It's
right.
just going over the, like, dumb it down. I hate to say that word, but dumb it down for everybody. For us, that works for me.
Well, hey, that's the best thing when you're educating.
Yeah.
I mean, you do need to dumb it down. That's the point of it, is starting from the groundwork up, you know? And so just, I mean, to that point of our training programs, that's one thing that we do strive to focus on, is really setting a good, solid foundation.
Yeah.
As if you have and this is medicine as a whole, it's nursing as a whole. If you have a good foundation, then you just grow from it and you build and you add those building blocks continuously. The building blocks being continuing education. I mean, we are in a field of educating ourselves, our clients, all the time, and which is part of what I absolutely love. And so
you're so good at it too.
Oh, I love it. It's so fun. And so obviously I love to talk, so it's pretty easy for me. But
well, I just love our training because they come in here, they start with Carla, which Carla's the best. She's so, like, her business speech, I'm like, I get pumped. And I've heard it 20 times where I'm like, I'm ready for this. Let's go. And then we follow up with, all right, guys, let's learn about, basic Botox and, dermal filler. Just from business to actually learning about Botox and dermal filler, and then talking about the legal compliance of it, which is Courtney, who is our chief legal officer. I really think we encompass everything, and just the community alone, because like I said, in Arizona, there is just so many people out there that gatekeep.
Yes.
And it is awful that, to your experience with Mary and Carla, like, you weren't even a part of Smiley, and we're all about, like, hey, like, we'll help you get there. Like, we're in this together, because at the end of the day, we are all about, like, making sure our patients are safe.
Right.
So we always like to say we don't like to whistleblow in other companies, but we do care about patient safety. If we find out, you're sticking some, like, Thailand crap in your in someone's lips, and we're going to report you. But, I just think if you're in a hospital, we're all in this together. If you're in the ICU, I'm in the ER, the patient was coding, I'm not going to push you out of the way because ER is the best, Just,
yes. I mean, well, really, we'll talk about that later. But,
but we're all in this together. And so, like, the community, that once they onboard, or even if they don't decide to onboard with us, like, we're still there. I have people I'm talking to that I've trained in other states that didn't onboard with us because we're not there. And I'm all about it. Like, shout out to New Jersey, like,
right.
We have fun.
Oh, we do.
Learn.
We do. And I mean, you're talking about, Carla giving such a pumped up, speech, but I have seen you train and you are hilarious. You have me laughing and it's very entertaining. It's funny. So, but that's what I love about our team, is that we bring that. We bring, entertainment, and, it's laid back. It's down to earth. It's not a stick in the mud.
No.
It's very engaging.
Yes.
So it's not like we're getting up there and talking for 3 hours.
I couldn't physically do that,
no.
to be honest. Like, I can talk for 3 hours. Like, my husband wants to, can you stop now? But, like, I think as nurses, we don't learn that way. We learn by doing.
Exactly.
As nurses, provider, I don't know, doctor, sorry, I love you, think you're great, but when was the last time you put an insulin needle in somebody?
Right.
You know what I mean? But we've all have dealt with needles. We understand gauges and all that stuff. So the injecting part for Botox is easy.
Yeah.
And it's, when we allow them to practice on each other, we all walk out looking like avatars because, like, I can't see this corrugator, I don't think she needs this much in her glabellar complex. And you can see so many people.
Yes.
That's why I love our group.
Yes.
I get this a lot, and I would love your opinion on it. When someone asks, would you prefer a group training or a small group? What is your opinion? I know it's
I really love the small group just because it's more intimate. You have the time to really dive into the whys, the critical thinking part of it, because, like you said, we're nurses. We know how to inject from an insulin syringe. That's not the hard part. It's the whys. It's
Yeah.
the mapping the client out and mapping multiple clients out so that you understand why would you inject on this person this away, but inject on this person this away.
Yeah.
And again, in my opinion, that's just what makes you good is understanding the why and what you're doing.
100%. See, and I was going to say the opposite.
Oh, were you really?
Yes.
That is funny. Oh,
So
gosh.
every time I get this answer, obviously I say exactly what you see about the small group and the one-on-ones. I love the intimacy of it. You don't have to quote unquote share models because we can't be here all day, right? Like if we have a group of 10 and I bring in 10 models, I'm injecting until the next day.
Right.
It's hard.
Right.
But I love our large group settings because you have 8 to 10 different people in front of you. They're all injecting differently. You're all like communicating, talking about things, and someone might be nervous, but then they see someone else inject and see how easy it is.
Oh, yeah.
And then that builds their confidence. And then someone else injects and you're like, I'm like, oh my, I've never injected that way. I'm going to try that. I've learned something during a training from somebody else. So at the end of the day, it's like, it's definitely personal preference. How do you learn the best?
Right.
But like, I love our large groups. I think it's
so
fun. I love everyone that comes through. I always joke at the beginning of this, everyone's so shy and timid. But at the end of the day, man, like we're all like laughing, giggling. It's a long day. It's great. But I love our group trainings.
That's awesome. I do. There are times that I will, arrive to training and think I'm so tired.
Yeah.
But man, I tell you, an hour or two into it, I am having so much fun. And I always leave at the end of the day just, invigorated by just the whole day. And it's just a good time. And it's a good time because at the end of the day, I feel like I've truly prepared that nurse at whatever level to go out and start injecting. Are they going to be nervous?
As they should be.
As they should be.
You've taken one training and you should be nervous.
Right.
That's why we always say this should not be your first and only training.
No, it should not. No, you don't go to nursing school and then never learn anything after it.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if you do, I don't know if I want you working on me or my family member, but nevertheless, it goes back to nursing and the medical field being, it's continuing education.
Ever evolving.
It is.
It's
it is.
ever evolving.
And so it's fun though. I love being able to feel confident that we have prepared them also on the legal side of things.
Oh, yes.
And the business side of things. We've talked about Carla being amazing because she is a business guru. And, but there's so much about that as nurses, we don't know because we didn't go to school to learn it.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no reason why we have, ever learned that side of things. And so I think that that's huge as well, which do you know any other training companies that offer like a business hour side of things?
I think there's, I'm thinking about, I don't want to say names.
Yeah, we won't name people.
But the smaller groups out there, like the Graces, there's so many small that are not like social media big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they have excellent trainings. I don't know if they have the legal component or the business, but I think their goal is kind of different from ours, from Smiley. Our goal is to really, help you build your business and give you those foundations, while those amazing injectors out there who have those courses you should go to them because you're going to expand your knowledge.
Right.
And I think, no, there's no one out there that
I don't
does that.
know of any either, but you're right. You hit the head on the nail with what our goal is for Smiley and Smiley Aesthetics is to actually prepare these nurses and help them build their own business.
Yeah.
And that's another aspect of it that I 100% love about Smiley Aesthetics and all of our team, really. Yeah. Because when you have a team like ours that come together and everyone has such different strengths and you bring it all together with one common goal being, we're here to help the next person and pump them up, boost them up, prepare them, and get them ready to own their own business and succeed.
Yes.
I mean, that's huge. You don't see that. You were speaking to gatekeeping in the community with aesthetics, and oh man, it's bad
cutthroat out there.
It is cutthroat, yeah.
And it's funny because I don't know if we talked about it already, because funny story, guys, we tried recording this once, but you know, when we talk about the legal component, like you and I learned so much. Like we first met, actually, funny story. Cira taught me her weight loss program, and that's how we became friends. And I learned so much from that. But then we just continue to learn. And Courtney, our chief legal officer, I talked about the PA and like the MP, and when we're going in those other states and we can't oversee them, it's like little things like that where I'm like mind blown.
Yeah, it is
Like,
mind blown.
It is just, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
So to have that pillar of Smiley Aesthetics that we really do not only want to see you succeed,
Right.
but we want to make sure you're safe.
Right.
Like you worked hard for your license. I think we're the only profession out there that, you know, we have to continuously test.
Yes.
We have to continuously keep up on hours, and we have to go to schooling, and we can't, you know, okay, I got my license, I don't have to do anything else about it. We want to protect that because the thought of having to take my like ANCC exam again, like PAs, I love you. I don't know how you do that. You guys test.
Kudos to PAs.
I think people who dog PAs, I'm like, you couldn't cut it.
Right.
Sorry. I think PAs are amazing. They're phenomenal, and they have to test, and that's just awful. So
It is awful.
I love that we work with everybody, all skill levels. And my doctors, I love you guys. When you come to training, you guys always ask the best questions. I'm like, okay, let's think this through. They're my favorite.
And they're the ones that maybe not or may not be comfortable with holding an insulin syringe.
No, but you know what?
So-
I think the MDs and the CRNAs, I think everyone has great patient care, but they're a little bit more softer.
Really?
Yeah, I see the way they interact, and they do our submucosal infiltrations.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're gonna feel a little pinch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that
That's awesome, though.
I don't know.
It's cool to see those different interactions with patients and just seeing how everyone else has their own, you know, bedside manner, which, again, like you said, you learn from those. I learned from the people that are there. You know, I'm there to train, but I feel like I learned something at every single training from the students. And so, which, again, I think is just, that's what makes training fun. You know, it does. It makes it fun. And gosh, you said before we're in 10 different states. And so, man, our plans for 2024, I'm getting so excited about it.
So excited, but
So
I'm like,
excited.
we've onboarded 4 new trainers.
Yes.
Well, you've onboarded. I brought one to the table. But which I'm excited about because like we talked about, you vetted them.
Yes.
You want to make sure they have our core values. But I love the fact that, and we've been to other trainings and we're going to continue to go to other trainings outside of Smiley. But I love the fact that these are trainers in their hometowns, their home cities. They're going to inject differently than us, and they're going to bring a new insight. And we're all about that. As long as you're safe, compliant, you know, let's talk about it. Like, let's spice it up a little bit.
And, you know, talking about the whole gatekeeping in the aesthetic industry, you know, one of the ones that we have onboarded, and she's going to be training with us, she's a physician that owns her own med spa,
See, that's
you know,
amazing.
outside of Smiley Aesthetics. And yet she's still going to be training for Smiley Aesthetics. And this is what I love. This is what I feel like we are about, helping one another, encouraging one another, and really just maximizing on helping the whole community. And, you know, with her experience in injecting, she's a good candidate, and she could appropriately train with the Smiley culture to and prepare those injectors to go out and succeed in their own business.
Yeah. And I think a good thing that we should talk about too is, you know, what qualifies a good training?
Yeah.
'Cause there is no certification out there. There's a CANS, 100%, but anyone could get trained in the back of a bus, and go on, and which is scary because again, this is medicine. So, you know, even if you stumbled upon like this, you know, this podcast about going to trainings and stuff, you really have to do your due diligence and be like, okay, what is this, like, how legit is this training? Is my trainer, how many years of injecting they have? Like what, you know, they don't need the CAN certification, but what have they done?
So
you know, there's no standard out there.
Right. And
Which
so I do like to throw out that we did set a standard. In order for you to be a trainer for Smiley Aesthetics is you have to have 3 to 5 years of experience. And you go through 3 interviews, not 1, but 3 interviews, because we do not want to bring anyone on just to train. We want to make sure that they are in it for the right reason, that they want to appropriately prepare that nurse to safely inject and practice medicine.
Yeah.
As much as we expect from, as Smiley, from Smiley Aesthetics as a whole.
And you're
That's
going to be
really-
doing a lot of traveling because we do QC them. We
Yes.
do make sure we do send like little, I don't want to say spies, but
Yeah,
we'll send someone to make sure, they're keeping up with
absolutely.
which is good because, man.
And you've done our recent QC.
Oh,
And
gosh.
that was amazing. It was a lot of work, and it was amazing. And you created that whole program.
I'm going to be honest, I thought I was going to hate it, but I secretly, like, it was fun. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I'm like, because it really does figure out how can we make this better and how can we make sure that, going forward, everyone is safe and compliant and, but you're going to be QCing the trainers.
Yeah, I will. And I tell you what, I mean, that's one thing that, again, it goes back to our expectations really kind of bleeding down is making sure that culture and the compliancy that we really hold high and pride ourselves on, that we can be compliant, because like we said before, the aesthetics as a whole is very gray in the nursing world. And I love knowing that we can inject and our license is protected. And I want the injector that we're training to feel the exact same way.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I always like talking to my injectors that come to training. If I gave you a bottle of Botox and some filler, do you feel confident to inject? And of course, they're like, I feel a lot better than I came. And that is the best feeling ever. So,
but still nervous, which is also good.
You should be nervous.
Yes.
100%. I think at any stage in your life, you should always have that fear of like, okay, what are the complications and how we're going to prevent them?
Exactly.
And kind of be 2 steps ahead of any situation.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense.
But I do love that, I feel like all the people that we've trained, I love the fact that I still have contact with the majority of them. And they do say like, thank you.
Yes.
Because we do have a great program. Because I think we love what we do.
We do. And gosh, let's talk about the resources after, because I know when I went to my training program, it was, all right, here's your certificate. Good luck.
Boot.
Yeah. And I'm like, YouTube. And Lord knows what is on YouTube and what is legit and what is not. So the resources that we continue to bring, we have over 100 injectors
We do. And
that, provides our come together for a community.
And not only, because we did start, obviously we started small and now we've grown so big. So it is fun to see in our community chats that we have the injectors who are, I like to call our OGs who've been with us for the longest.
Yes.
They're answering for those new injectors. And it's such a great community. I just learned the other day that one of our injectors was brand new. She reached out to one of our OG injectors. And that OG injector was like, yeah, I have this patient come like shadow me.
What?
And I just thought that was like the greatest, like that could just, it made me so warm inside because I'm like, yes, this is what we're building is. It doesn't matter what stage you're in. Like, we're here for you. If you have questions, like, let's figure this out. And someone has an answer and actually hearing someone else's answer that's different, then you can really be like, oh, all right, let's talk about it.
Yes.
I love the community we have.
I do too. I had an OG injector come to one of my trainings, and she actually came as a model
Oh,
because I was like in need of a model.
yeah.
And so she kind of stepped up and was like, I'll be there. And then, man, watching her interact with the students, I am not kidding. It was the best thing ever. I left that day just feeling like so full and so happy with what I saw, because she was giving her tips on her business and how, things of marketing, just different tips that she has learned on her journey, and shared numbers, call me anytime. I mean, the support was amazing. It was so awesome.
I need her name because I got to put her in we do a monthly newsletter. So I do a little, injector spotlight.
Yes, you do. Oh my goodness. It was amazing.
I got to get that name so we can spotlight that injector.
That's right.
Well,
Oh goodness.
Cira, it
We
is
could
fun.
go on and on about
could.
training. I
But
do
I'm
want to
hungry.
touch.
Oh.
I just want to touch on one more thing, and then we'll go. Our training moving forward for 2024.
Tell me more.
So we have already onboarded, as mentioned, 4
Yeah.
trainers. Guys, like we are growing so quickly, which is amazing. And so we are actually continuing to bring on contracted trainers for trainings in other cities and states.
What states?
Well, the next one I believe we're going to be moving to is maybe Florida.
But do we have a
Something
trainer in
like-
Atlanta yet?
No, we are still working on
Okay.
Atlanta, Kansas. Those are going to be priority. So
Okay.
Atlanta, Kansas,
Who we're
And
in
we are.
training, but
Yes.
we're looking for contracted trainers.
Ohio, and Indiana.
Ohio.
Those 4
Indiana.
are going to be priority, and then new states that we go into will move forward from there. But I'm super excited because it's just going to expand and offer quality trainings and that are going to teach you about compliancy and the business aspect of it. And we're just going to be more widely spread out, more widely available to everyone who is interested in aesthetic injections.
I love that.
Yes, I'm so excited. So 2024, keep following us. Jump on Patreon. Patreon's huge. Mary, Carla, and Courtney all have videos on there talking about the legal side of things, business, as well as Mary doing a lot of clinical education. She's got videos of her injecting. Guys, it's quality stuff. I mean, I cannot recommend that enough. And so get on Patreon.
Training.
It is. It's another training. It is. Continuing education. Continuing education. It's awesome. So jump on Patreon, go to Smiley Aesthetics, follow us, and just keep an eye. So
Tell us what states you would like us to
yes.
get into, and reach out to us if you have any questions.
All right, we better let Adriane go.
I am
Get some
pregnant
dinner.
and hungry.
She is hungry. We're not going to interfere. So thank you guys very
Thank
much.
you.
It's been fun.
Bye.
Bye.